Dale Metlica here for Power TV, and we're here at the PRI show. And I'm at the All-Pro Aluminum Cylinder Heads booth. And I found Bob Williams, and he's got some LS cylinder heads here that are pretty trick-looking. Now, Bob, tell me about this tall port head I see here.
Well, the tall port is a 12-degree cylinder head that we've designed over the last couple of years. It also has the ability to be used with the 6 head bolts per cylinder. Also, some of the features, you could use an LS7 plastic manifold on it. However, it does drag down the intake port quite a bit. The head has a good dry deck feature, which makes it really strong for the power adder motors, such as nitrous and turbocharging, supercharging. Some of the good features of it is the valve covers are moved, which allows it to have a long trending rocker arm on it, which is really, really beneficial. These heads were all designed with a very light spring and a very light valve and a very light rocker, which won't stand up under competition use, so we've addressed that area.
Now, I see you've got a pretty big port on this thing. What's the port volume on this LS2?
The LS2 is actually 250 as you see it. This is a spatial drag version that we offer that has a 2.125 and a 1.625 valve. It's designed for a 4-inch plus bore size.
Now, this LS2 tall port, you call it your drag head. Now, that fits all LS1 and LS2 engines, correct?
That's correct, yes. We also have a smaller chamber version and a smaller port version for the smaller bore motors, such as the 3.9. So we have something for everybody, or pretty much any type of motor with a cathedral port.
So obviously, if you got LS2, you've got a street head and a race head.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, now also I see one that looks almost the same on the outside, but it's got a completely different intake port. Now tell me about that.
That's our LSW series. That we've been working on for a couple of years. It's very similar to actually an LS7 head, but believe it or not, I never saw an LS7 head when we started developing this thing. It's quite a superior head as far as strength and everything to the LS7, and also it continues to airflow at higher lifts than what the LS7 does. The head is very, very rigid, very, very strong. The material is a proprietary alloy. It's heat treated to high end of T6. The valve spacing is like our highly successful Gen 1 heads, which has moved 60 thousandths in the bore centers. Allows dramatic increase of airflow. We also offer it with the 6 bolt per cylinder. I may have mentioned that, but that's really, really beneficial. Again, it has a spatial rocker arm system for it that's very, very durable. You can put it on a Spintron, run it to 9,000, no problems at all. The head is designed for a big valve spring, as well as our LS2 is designed for a big valve spring. It's just some of the features we offer on this cylinder head.
So this LSW head is really more specifically designed for the LS7 market?
LS7 market or the hardcore racing market.
Okay, so if you've got a LS1 or an LS2, which head would you choose if you had a street car?
I would choose the small valve All-Pro, the one with the 2080 and the 1.6 and the smaller port, the 240cc port. We found that works very, very well. Even from 2,000 RPM on up, it still is superior torque-wise to anything else that we've tested.
All right, and if you had an all-out drag race motor, let's say you wanted to get the most power, a serious LS motor, which cylinder head of yours would you choose?
I would use the LSW, and I'd also either use a plenum manifold that Wagner has designed that will bolt onto that head for a single 4 style application. It does have the ability for the nozzles to go into the manifold, to use a fuel rail and so forth. Or you can use a carburetor on it if you so desire.
Okay, so if you've got an LS1, LS2, or LS7, you've obviously got a cylinder head to cover them. If a person owns one of those vehicles that has that engine and they wanted to get in contact with All-Pro aluminum cylinder heads, how could they do that?
Well, they could give us a call at 740-967-7761, or they could reach us at allproheads.com on the internet. We'd be happy to. We answer all of our emails. We answer all of our phone calls. We'd be happy to answer any questions for anybody.
Okay, Bob, well, thank you for your time, and thank you for showing us such wonderful cylinder heads that are available for the LS Series engines here on Power TV.